All right, you ready?
I'm good.
All right. I know me always start out with a drink of beer. All right, guys, Buds Aplenty back in session, episode 14. I had to go back yesterday and check how many episodes I've done.
I actually looked it up too.
Yeah, I had to remember. If I'm correct, this is the first repeat guest I've had.
Did Avery come on twice?
Avery did not because
he didn't.
remember he was the first episode and then he moved to Orlando.
Okay, yeah.
Now he's out in
Colorado.
Lake Tahoe in Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
why did I think Colorado? Oh, that's one of his options before he actually moved. Yeah.
It was those two and then Tampa as well. He really enjoyed Tampa. Yeah. So, shout outs to Abe. Wish you were on a second time, but
he also just released a song.
Oh, I know. Very impressed. Him and I, he texted me, asked for some feedback. I actually gave some detailed feedback as well.
Yeah.
Gave some.
I'm not a huge rap guy, so I didn't know a whole lot to say. So I just kind of gave him some general feedback from my perspective. I liked it,
right?
And then I shared it with a bunch of my friends, and they all seemed to have enjoyed it. The ones that listened to it, some of them said that they couldn't get SoundCloud to work, which doesn't make sense. But
yeah.
Whatever.
Buds Aplenty on Twitter will be sharing that, so if you want to check that out, check the Buds Aplenty Twitter. Mm. Also, you'll be seeing it on in the description below. So make sure to check that out. Shout out to Avery.
Yeah. Intro to Ave.
Intro to Ave. So I'm really liking it. I think it definitely hits the pop rap kind of scene that we're hitting nowadays.
Yeah, it definitely feels very modern. And I don't not listen to a lot of rap. I like older rap. I'm a big Tupac or Eminem or that generation. Dre and early Snoop and stuff. I like that music.
Right.
So that's my style, and it's very different from that style, but at the same time I can tell that it's the new modernized, and I kind of like it.
When he was first getting into doing music, he had asked me what I thought, because my music spectrum has changed as well. I still enjoy modern rap, but I'm not liking the approach it's taking with a lot of the mumble rap that's big right now, and I think that it's an approach that you might see a Chance the Rapper. I know that's a name that a lot of people throw around. That's kind of like that upbeat, that I don't know. Go check it out, see what you think. Leave the comments for him. Hit him up on Twitter. It's Avery2Fresh on Twitter.
Avery2Fresh.
So you'll be give him your feedback, give him your praise. Shout out to Avery.
Yep, he's a pretty cool dude. So
we did not even introduce the repeat guest. we
talked about Avery.
We talked about Avery. We've got Zeb Ehringer on, master guitar player. Master WoW player.
Former master. I'm officially retired as of February.
No.
Yeah.
But do you still talk a lot in their guild? Because Avery...
I actually quit cold turkey, uninstalled and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, former master WoW player. Just busy man overall, Zeb Ehringer.
Try to occupy my life with things that take time to enjoy. So.
Oh, well, yeah. Playing guitar and playing WoW takes a lot of time to enjoy.
Oh, yeah. That was the main reason I actually quit WoW, is because raiding was 9 hours a week, and then on top of that you have to put in another somewhere around 10 to maintain your game, and I was working 32 hours a week ish.
Right.
And then I was working on a project as well.
I knew that the project was taking a lot of your time.
So those combined was I was home for less than an average of 6 hours a day, which was rough
and counting 2 hours on the road as well, because your drive from Trafalgar to Bloomington is another hour, we talked about.
And that was awful. So I quit WoW because of that. I haven't played any video games really recently. Recently tried to get back into stuff. Been playing Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
So there's been a resurgence in the Guitar Hero community, it seems like. So.
Especially with today was supposed to be the day for Guitar Hero Reunion, which was the tournament hosted by Boss Battle Games. You've seen a couple episodes, of the episode with ZV Amir, the Smash community guru, and then the last episode with Cameron was actually at Boss Battles as well.
Okay, yeah.
So you'll be seeing some more stuff from Boss Battles. They're a great group, but they're doing a Guitar Hero tournament in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. They rescheduled. So be looking to that if you're a Guitar Hero fan. Up here in Indy, they're a great group of guys, so check them out.
Yeah.
So we'll get right into the first topic. If you noticed, in season 1 or whatever episode it was that you were on,
3 or 4.
Pretty early, yeah, in the lifespan of Buds of Plenty, we had on another goofy guest, the tall, lanky athlete of the dynamic duo himself, Kyle England. He was on, and he's not here.
He's this tree.
Oh, shout outs to Christmas in July. I forgot to mention, it is the first day of July we're filming, so you'll be seeing a little bit of the Christmas stuff this month as I film more content.
And happy birthday if your birthday's on the 1st of July. Congrats
to those people. I forgot to check Facebook of whose birthday it was.
No idea.
I don't know.
I told somebody happy birthday just now, but
Well, someone's gonna get it.
They'll be happy that they got it.
Kyle's not here, and neither is season 2 episode 2 guest Shane Loughran.
O'Mac.
Oh, what is that?
Have you never heard of Shane O'Mac? He's like
the WWE.
Yeah.
Son of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
He's one of the most explosive, old guys in the wrestling.
Yeah. He's impressive, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, episode 2 guest Shane.
Not necessarily Shane O'Mac, but neither one of them are here
because they're bitches.
I'll let Zeb use that word. I was gonna say they're lame, and
that works too.
Zeb, who I usually let the buds of Buds of Plenty determine the topics. His idea for opening segment is
a top 3 list of why the 2 of them suck, and we've each prepared our own individual lists. So I'll give my number 3 reason why Kyle sucks. Start off the show. He doesn't share appetizers.
Ooh, yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, so you go to a restaurant, and he's like, oh, I'll take the fried mushrooms and the stuffed mushrooms and the fried pickles, and you're like, all right, he's buying it for the table. No, he's gonna eat them by himself. That's the number 3 reason why Kyle sucks. So
all right, my number 3 reason why Shane sucks. I used to be known in our friend group as the loud one.
Oh.
Until junior year of high school, when you realize
that.
Oh,
that was a joke.
I was about to say it's obvious. Shane is double my my decibel level. Shane screams all the time. There have been times when I invite Shane over, we're hanging out at night. And this is back in high school when I still lived with my parents, and he would scream all night. And, my parents would be like, Shane can't do that again. He's just too loud.
In Shane's defense, maybe it's his werewolf bones moving.
Mm-hmm. He's also got old man, gray hair bones as well.
Yeah.
So we played a game a couple weeks ago, or at the first Boxmas we had. Boxmas is my get together for a fake holiday, and it is a holiday where we just get together, play board games, enjoy the company of friends.
I actually was really disappointed I didn't get to go this year because I had 9 boxes of printers from the printer paper.
Oh.
I had them stashed away at work so that I could just take them one day.
Oh, that's so bad. But anyway,
it would have been good.
He screamed the entire time we played a game called Spectre Ops, because it's a game that involves one person moving around secretly. So that was Caleb, and he was moving around on the board but on a piece of paper and writing down where he was. But there's a traitor amongst the other 4 players.
Okay.
So he was screaming the entire time that either Wells or I were the traitor. He's like, it's got to be Wells, but then again, it's got to be Dill, but then again, it's got to be Wells. And it took a game that should have took an hour and a half, and it took 2 hours. He just added 30 minutes from him yelling.
I think if you pick any of the group of friends that we like had in high school and like put like 5 of them together and play a game that's supposed to take 2 hours, it's going to take like 3. Or that's pretty normal.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. There's my number 3 reason why Shane Loughran sucks.
My number 2 reason that Kyle England sucks is that he cannot do an accent. Now, you're laughing because you may have heard his Australian accent attempt, mm-hmm. right? So, like, people know, like, the general Australian accent, you know? You got, like, the Steve Irwins, you know? Like, the most dangerous python in the world, you know? Like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle's accents are... He just pretty much elevates his voice and says random things. So his go-to is that dingo just ate my Pop-Tart.
Okay.
That's his accent, and whenever he says it, he's like, "Oh, that dingo just ate my Pop-Tart." That's his accent. So, yeah, it's a really good pickup line though. I'll be like talking to somebody for him, and I'll be like, "Yeah, just show him your Australian accent, just to see how he reacts." And it's led to some pretty funny moments over the years.
And you've actually used it like as your like wingman pickup line for him?
Oh, I've done it to him a couple of times.
That's so good and so bad at the same time.
Oh, it's hilarious. His I could have put the wingman follow up as one of the top 3 reasons is his inability to capitalize on the grenade that I've handed to him a couple of times.
So good.
I've pulled the pin out, stuck it in his hands, and it hasn't exploded. That's Kyle for you.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Those two together, an amalgamation of the two.
Kyle is very like doesn't capitalize on things very often. And, like,
yeah,
he's one to like choke or
yeah. I love him to death, and I wouldn't be saying this if I wasn't making fun of him.
Right.
For the good stuff only, but you know.
Your number 2. My number 2 for Shane. Shane gets very deep into games, but doesn't compete in them.
Okay.
So like he gets really good at Guitar Hero. He gets really good at Mortal Kombat or Injustice is right now his big thing. Mm-hmm. But yet he's never like traveled to like see where he stacks up against competition. Yeah. Shane gets really good at these games, but yet he doesn't like capitalize on his abilities.
Yeah. Me and Shane played a lot of similar games in high school, like Guitar Hero. He was like one of the only person that could beat me on any of the songs. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many he could beat me on. I know he could beat me on Number of the Beast because I sucked at that song.
Right.
Yeah, he got really good at Guitar Hero like overnight. I remember he was like kind of bad. I played with him at like a street fair or something, and then like a couple months later, we had that like camp out at Kyle's mom's house.
Yes.
And Shane was playing. I was like, damn, like he got a lot better. So
yeah,
it happened overnight. But
and I think that like he definitely could take those skills, and I want to see where he would take it with the competitive level, especially with esports being as big as they are.
Yeah.
The Injustice circuit is online right now, and it's got some big money behind it.
Well, I mean, just look at like me and Avery and WoW. Like me and him were both very successful. Like over like I think he's played what like 10 years or something.
Yeah, he's played a long time.
But you know, me and him like were always like near the top end of the spectrum on any class we played, pretty much. Right. And Shane was like always good at video games in the same way, so I'm sure he would be able to do the same kind of thing with any game he played, really. But
right,
he's lame.
Lame-o. You're number 1.
My number 1 is little offensive, but the number 1 reason Kyle sucks is because he smells so bad.
Oh my gosh. now are we talking
just generally he's a clean person, so you don't really smell it, you know? But like he has this special ability to just clear out a room. So he has a couple of go-tos. Post-workout.
Oh, yes.
You don't want to be around him for post-workout. Taking his shoes off.
Ooh. I actually have the little balls that he puts in his shoes for scent.
Yeah.
He was the one who put me onto those. Like I have a few of those to like try and remove foot odor.
Yeah. It would be nice if they helped a little more. Or if he like eats a lot or something and his stomach's got that like bubble in it, you know? If he ever does, like, you hear anything come from him, or you just smell rotten eggs all of a sudden, that's Kyle. And you should vacate the premise because you're gonna throw up.
We need to get some like hazmat suits in circulation for like our group of friends.
Me whenever I have garlic.
Oh.
Nope.
I actually know this from experience because I played basketball with him for a long time.
Right.
And he was known as one of the sweatiest 3 people on the team. Mm-hmm. So man,
he sweated playing Halo.
Guitar Hero was his like post workout.
He'd be sitting there like, and he always had to wash his hands. Like, I don't know if you how often you play Guitar Hero with him, but he'd play like 2 songs and be like, oh, I gotta take his like strap off and like, I gotta go wash my hands. I'm sweaty. And I'm like, what does that have to do with it? They're wet. I'm like, you're going to wash your hands. They're gonna be wet too. Like, obviously you can dry them off, but I'm like,
you just gotta learn to like wear a glove or something.
that sounds not fun, but
right.
It would be funny.
Oh yeah. You get like little sweatbands for your wrists, the wristbands.
Keyword there, little, because you got little hands.
My number 1 is Shane has horrible taste in food. Shane's favorite sandwich is the McRib.
Ooh.
Shane, we used to give him all crap all the time because he would always go to Captain D's.
I get a Captain D's craving like once a year.
Exactly, but like he used to go like once every other week.
No.
Golden Corral.
About it. Golden Corral is like, I feel like a lot of people like that, but I'm not a buffet guy.
Oh, right. But anytime he always talks about like the McRib being like his end all be all of sandwiches, I'm just like, you're bad.
The McRib. I think I've had one McRib.
Never had McRib.
And I like ate it and I was like, this is really gross. And then I like was sick for like 2 hours because it's one of the not healthy or like extra not healthy McDonald's options.
Yeah, oh yeah, it just looks like a piece of like steak that they put in the fryer and then like they take tongs and they dip it in the barbecue sauce.
Well, it looks exactly like the ones we had in like elementary school or something. I don't even remember.
Probably bought from the same company.
Probably. Or like McDonald's just took all the like leftover ones and that's why they don't have them very often.
Oh, yeah.
Discontinued product.
And it's like,
huh?
It's like what the schools use is what's left over in the freezer and McDonald's bought the rest.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, that's my number 1 reason why Shane Lochran is a baddie.
He's a poo-poo doo-doo head.
A poo-poo doo-doo head. Heard it first here.
I've got insults for days.
Headline of the Huffington Post tomorrow. Be looking for it.
Shane Lochran. Poo-poo doo-doo head. I can see it in the lights now. Or maybe it's just the light.
It's probably just the light. It's a bright light. Zeb also, as we kind of implied, is a big Guitar Hero fan. Big music fan.
Yeah, in general.
In general, yes. Zeb brought to the table a really interesting topic. So hit us with why you wanted this topic and what the topic is.
So this weekend we were going to go to the Guitar Hero tournament. We had discussed it with Shane and Kyle, and they both were lame, as we've previously discussed.
Another reason.
We decided that I couldn't go the 15th and 16th.
Same.
So I told Dylan that, and I was like, well, that sucks that they moved it. And we were like, well, let's still hang out. And Shane and Kyle obviously canceled, didn't show up. We both expected it. So I was thinking, why not, in the spirit of things, let's keep the Guitar Hero trend alive, since it's in the news sort of right now.
Oh yeah, in local, yes.
Yeah,
in kind of the nerd culture.
Local knows. Not news, knows. That's what I said.
Like knows is in like KNOWS or NOS or NOSE.
We'll do the K because that makes me sound less dumb. Anyways, so I thought let's do the best song that's not on Guitar Hero by a band that is on Guitar Hero. And I thought it was a good idea. I thought it like you have to kind of think about things a little bit because, you know, Guitar Hero a lot of times has 2 or 3 songs from a band and their discography will be 200 songs.
Right.
So you gotta actually think about it. But
I actually had to pull up the Wikipedias for each of the Guitar Heroes and go into and break down the lists.
So I didn't look.
Okay.
Because I remember like pretty much all the songs up until like games until like the 5th Guitar Hero. I don't know the rock bands that well. So.
Rock bands do not count.
Oh, they don't count. Okay.
You did specifically say Guitar Hero,
that's fair.
So there are some cheats because some of my songs are on Rock Band.
Okay, but Mine may be on a Guitar Hero as a DLC or something like that, but I didn't double check.
I made sure mine were not DLC. Okay. I'll tell you that right now. I also went as recent as Guitar Hero Live, so the newest one.
Okay, I definitely forgot about that one.
Yeah, because that was the one that had the actual almost guitar to teach you how to play Guitar Hero or guitar.
It's awful. I don't know if I have it, and it's
really bad.
I mean, it's Guitar Hero, but it's kind of boring because it's like 3 buttons and you're just like this. Mm-hmm. If you don't play guitar, you're probably going to be really shit at it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a little tough. Kyle can't play it to save his life because the switching chord progressions and stuff is a little confusing for him. Wow. But he was beating me on some songs though, so which never would have happened before. No.
That's more reasons why Kyle's lame.
Because he sucked.
All right, so we both have our list prepared. We have our top 10s actually. I know it's. Who would you like to do the honors first?
I mean, you can start since I started the last list.
All right, yes, I will start. Mine is a very interesting one. She was on 2 Guitar Heroes that I know off the top of my head. We have Guitar Hero 1 and Guitar Hero 3.
Pat
Benatar's "We Belong."
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Pat Benatar fan. I hear it all the time on the radio here locally, but it was initially I heard it as the song from Talladega Nights when they're racing on foot there at the end. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen Talladega Nights.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think I might have even watched that in Alabama.
Like down south?
Yeah, when we were in
oh my gosh, trip. Yes. Space Camp.
Yeah, maybe not. I was going south or something and I was watching that. It might have been more recently, but I was thinking it was that trip for some reason.
But it's whenever him and Jean Girard are running after the crash, they get disqualified, but they play Pat Benatar's "We Belong."
Okay.
And I love that song.
You can't diss Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
What song of hers was on the first Guitar Hero?
I Love Rock and Roll.
That's Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Damn it. So, I tried.
I knew who you were going to say, but I was...
You prepped it.
Yeah. It was,
but yeah, so she is DLC, I think, as well on a few other ones.
Okay, that's a good possibility because, Pat Benatar's actually...
Shoutouts to my misknowledge. I thought of that on the spot. Shoutouts to the beer helping as well.
I have a really big encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to music, so I kind of remember those things. But
right. Also, real quick, since I mentioned the beer, shoutouts to Triton Brewing Company. We have the Deadeye Stout, or what did you call it?
I think I said Deadly Stout.
Deadly Stout. Deadeye, with it being a pirate reference. It's a wonderful brewing company. As you saw from the Matt Brackney episode, I mentioned my friend Lobster Man. Who has passed on. Yeah. His favorite beer was from Triton.
Okay.
So I wanted to give it a shot. I've never had it before, so it's an interesting beer, especially for a stout.
Yeah, it's a little different. The only stout I'm really used to is Guinness, but
Right. This is solid.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
So, anyway, your number 10.
My number 10 is Dragula by Rob Zombie.
Okay.
He had the song Black Sunshine on Guitar Hero 3. He also had, as White Zombie, Thunderkiss 65 on Guitar Hero 1. So
and it was also as White Zombie on Guitar Hero 3, right?
It may have been listed as White Zombie, but
I think it was.
I pulled from either one because it's still the same guy.
Yeah, same.
Guitar, I like White Zombie a little better, but Dragula is probably one of his most iconic songs. It's off Hellbelly Deluxe, which is where all of his hits are from, pretty much. It's pretty good. It's got it's still heavy, but it's a little more groovy than a lot of the other Guitar Hero options. So I understand why it never made the cut. We took care of that.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys not being able to see what just happened.
Yeah, I ninja swatted that fly.
Way to tell them what they didn't see at home. Nah. Anyway, so. What do you think made it stand out compared to some of the other Rob Zombie songs?
I think that the usage of Dragula versus a lot of his other songs, because Rob Zombie has a lot of very good songs by both bands, Even his more recent stuff is pretty interesting. It's different, and he had like a group of musicians that used to work with him called Scum of the Earth, and they actually split up in like 2005, I think, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So that's why his music changed drastically in the last like 10 years or so. But Dragula was one of the like first heavy metal songs that I really heard, and I've listened to a lot of Rob Zombie, and I just wanted to choose what I thought was the most iconic Rob Zombie song. It's probably not my absolute favorite, but it's probably the most well known. It was actually the theme song to Edge in WWE, and back in like the early 2000s.
Another pop culture reference that you've got in the back of the...
Wrestling. I know a lot about wrestling too.
We need a wrestling episode because that would be hilarious.
I'm down. I'll even dress up like Hulk Hogan or something.
I wasn't a huge wrestling fan. The only time I really got into it was the about the reign when CM Punk was like at the top, because I thought he was so polarizing.
Yeah.
He was a
really good character. Like,
oh my gosh,
but
yes.
he was his self kind of.
Yeah, and he's still like that, just as him as an individual.
His name's Phil Brooks, I think.
Phil Brooks, yes.
Yeah, and he's what's he Talking Dead or something like that? Is that what he does sometimes?
That I'm not sure of. He also is known for he made a UFC.
Yeah, didn't he get like absolutely wrecked?
It was bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
He put effort into it. I mean, the guy was gonna whoop on him, and we all knew it, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a professional wrestler, and, wrestling's not fake. As people say, it's more scripted. Like, yes. I try to make that distinction because I think that's an important distinction to make, wrestling-wise.
Yes.
Because, they put themselves through hell, but, they're trained to protect their opponent, where in the UFC, you're trained to knock the shit out of your opponent.
Right.
And, like, you can't really do one, or you can't count on somebody, like being good at UFC just because they're a good wrestler. Brock Lesnar being the exception, but Brock Lesnar was 295, like whenever he wasn't in shape.
He was a scary man. Also, he was kind of doping.
Yeah, well, before, like his first UFC run, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He was clean.
And the second one,
whenever he came back, because he was still in wrestling, and there was like that weird transition, and they didn't drug test him until after.
Right.
Which is like, should have set off a red flag, and I understand why Frank Mir, that's who he fought, right? It was Frank Mir.
Frank Mir, yeah, I think that sounds right. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I don't follow UFC a whole lot. I do follow wrestling somewhat. I'm not like the most up to date. If you told me to list all the champions, I might be able to get like 6 of them right now.
Right.
But I do somewhat follow wrestling just because it's like nostalgic reasons. But
I think, and we've gotten way off topic, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's notorious for this show. I think if you want a good example of why wrestling's not fake and more is scripted, check a movie called The Wrestler. I think that's a very... it shows how brittle like some of the older wrestlers could possibly be.
Oh yeah, I mean if you think about it, a power bomb, which is like maybe not even the most impactful move in wrestling, but whenever you pick somebody up above your head and like say I'm 6'5", I'm probably like, that's around average height for like the bigger guys that would do that move. Whenever you're getting slammed on the ground on your back at that hard, yes, they have a foam layer, but you're still getting hit by like whatever your weight is multiplied by the force that versus the height and gravity.
It's a lot of the similar, maybe even more so, a lot of the similar hits that a football player would take.
I would absolutely agree with that.
I think even more so, just because of the height, even with the padding. I mean, their bare shirt, there was a lot of cutting.
Yeah, they banned that kind of stuff, and they don't do chair shots in the head now. And stuff,
right. But still, I mean, you still have a lot of wrestlers who are scarred to death. Their scar tissue is just covered to their foreheads. And I may have a friend of my cousin. Actually, is personal friends with Ted DiBiase.
Okay.
So we may have
the son or the dad.
I think it's Senior.
Senior. Okay.
Was he the $1 million
man?
Yeah, it's Senior. Yep. He also did a interview before he got big, right before he got his big deal with AJ Styles.
Oh, really?
AJ Styles, he was a college interviewer, and AJ Styles is a devout Christian.
Okay.
And he worked for a Christian school, and he was in Knoxville, down where he goes to school, and pulled an interview with him.
AJ Styles from Georgia, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So, my number 9. Let's get back
to topic.
I had to actually, in the middle of this, I had to go to Wikipedia to make sure it was not on it. We got a song by a band who had their own Guitar Hero.
Wait.
But it was not on that Guitar Hero. Finish What You Started by Van Halen.
Wow.
Was not on Guitar Hero Van Halen.
I forgot that Guitar Hero Van Halen and
Existed.
Guitar Hero Metallica both existed.
And Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
Yeah. I remember that one, but I forgot. Metallica's probably one of them that I played the most. But
yeah. So
I kind of forgot about
I was like,
honestly.
wait, how did that not get on? Finish What You Started. It has a very iconic guitar intro.
Mm-hmm.
I think of that song actually for its guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And Van Halen very much deserved their own Guitar Hero. They have
I mean, if you not to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
I think the Guitar Hero, the personification of it would be guys like Jimi Hendrix, Van Halen, Dimebag Darrell. You could have made an argument that all three of those deserve their own Guitar Hero, and you're going to find out later that one of those is on my list.
Right. So I think it's a shame that they didn't have that one, considering they have songs like "You Really Got Me," which may be a bigger hit, but it's less of a guitar centered song.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of you think of that one as I think that one's more of the lyrics.
Yeah. See, that song is the song that follows Eruption normally. So he plays Eruption and then he goes into that's that's his move. So it would make sense if they played them in the same set. If You Really Got Me was the encore for Eruption or something, that would make sense to me. But
right,
I agree with what you're saying 100%. You Really Got Me is a good song, but it's not necessarily their most pristine.
Maybe it's what they had to do to sell,
mm-hmm.
but I think they really missed an opportunity with skipping out on
mm-hmm.
Finish What You Started. I think that one has very interesting vocals. You kind of have multiple layers of vocals going on whenever they do the baby come on, and then that kind of solo is very not atypical of a Van Halen style. Yeah. I think that's so.
No, I agree. That's a good answer to me. That's I see it. Your list is probably really good because I could see that higher even. So.
Yeah, I could too.
So
mine's got some interesting choices. It's a little bit of bias, but go ahead.
All right, my number 9 choice is "Falling Down" by Atreyu.
Okay.
They had the song "Ravenous" on Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock.
Okay. That was Guitar Hero 4 technically, or no 5 because of the main series, because 4 was World Tour.
Okay, so I thought they did World Tour, then Guitar Hero 5, and then Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock.
Yes, you are correct.
I think that's what they did.
Yep.
I forgot Guitar Hero 5 existed as well, so I'm not saying...
There's also 4, which had... where the song was the Dream Theater song. That was the big ender. That was World Tour.
Yeah, I don't remember which song that was.
I'm trying to think. It was
something under or falling.
I'll find out. Go ahead. You were on what was the song called?
"Falling Down" by Atreyu.
Okay.
There's a lot of songs I could have chosen by them, but I chose that one because I feel like that's the radio hit of the band, and
mm-hmm.
I think that was where they sort of matured as musicians, and that's pretty much all I got to say about it. They have a lot of great music. Not gonna plug myself here, but
resist.
If you like Atreyu, you should definitely check out "Falling Down" if you haven't heard it. They have a lot of, if you're old or the early metalcore, like early Avenged Sevenfold kind of sound. Their older music is like better than Avenged Sevenfold's.
Wow.
Like,
And you're a big Avenged Sevenfold fan.
yeah. I am. I would say I am, and I appreciate what they've done for music, keeping metal, because I don't classify them as metal anymore.
Right.
In the mainstream, but yeah, they're in the same vein of Avenged Sevenfold for sure.
The song was called "Pull Me Under."
Pull Me Under. So
Yeah.
I was right. There was an under.
You were correct on that. That was a very good finisher. I always appreciate
Yeah, it was really good because didn't it play with like the credits or something?
Yes, it played with like it was kind of like in like the Sky type where you play it.
Uh-huh.
They had like their own venue for it, if I remember.
I remember like an eagle or something.
Yeah, I think so. My number 8 is, I can't remember if they had a song on Guitar Hero 1. They had a song on Guitar Hero 2, which was one of my favorites to play on that game. Free Will by Rush.
Okay.
That's more of one of the radio hits.
Yeah. What about Limelight? Was that ever?
Limelight was a DLC.
Was it? Okay. So
Yeah, that's why I had to go down a little bit, but I think this is one that has like an iconic like guitar intro as well. I mean that's a great band for Guitar Hero in general. Great vocals. If you look at the later Guitar Heroes that introduced vocals,
yeah.
One of the greatest drummers of all time. Oh God, I'm hitting a blank.
Neil Peart,
thank you. Because I can think of the Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee.
Yeah.
Geddy's got some amazing bass.
I don't think I'll ever forget Geddy Lee because of Gunner.
Oh my gosh, Gunner reveres Geddy Lee,
Yeah.
and has seen Rush many times. Probably sees him at least once a year. But because they also play in Louisville, which most artists don't play in Louisville.
Yeah. Well, I went to a concert in Louisville not too long ago. It was Monomarth and a band called Goat Whore.
Goat Whore?
Goat Whore.
That's a horrid name, but was it good?
I enjoyed the concert. Goat Whore was a little excessive on their like satanic music, but they had a song called FBS, which stood for F by Satan. If you want to put that together.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
Yeah, and
that's a little much.
They're a little excessive, even for me, and I'm not like religious, so like to me that was like, I don't see the point of this, but you know,
I think
the music was good,
and that's definitely something. I mean, you get into it with like the song "Number of the Beast," which was on a Guitar Hero. I think that's something that's a theme that you see a lot in heavy metal.
Right, and there's a difference between like "Number of the Beast" is a story about the devil versus worshiping the devil. You know, like there's a big distinction there. I think that. And you know, if somebody wants to worship the devil, they can worship the devil, and I have nothing against them for that. But I think that writing metal that's like ridiculously overboard, even like, and the other way bothers me as well. Like if you're like overly Christian bands bother me a little bit. Not that again, I have nothing against people like that, but they just get too much.
Do you think they're because yeah. I think, as a religious guy myself,
right? Yeah, exactly.
I think at that point there needs to be a distinction because I mean there's gospel or worship music as a genre.
Yeah.
And as a distinction, you would almost think of there as being the polar opposite as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's the reason why I wasn't too put off by them, because I was like, you know, I can accept any kind of music, but I'm
it almost drowned out the music.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to this all the time because this isn't a message for me or anything.
Mm-hmm. So my that was number 8, I think. Number 8 was Free Will by Rush.
Okay, so my number 8 is A Little Piece of Heaven by Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay, as we just discussed, Avenged Sevenfold. We also did put a barrier, one song per artist.
Yeah.
So you won't be seeing any of the artists we mentioned later on the list.
So this song has a very interesting concept. Speaking of what we were just talking about, it was based off Porphyria's Lover. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that poem, but it's like where the guy kills the woman that he loves because he can't be with her or whatever.
Okay.
So,
Shout out to Romeo and Juliet type scenarios.
similar, yeah.
Yeah.
More dark, but
Yeah, but same.
yeah,
same
it's just
basic,
a poem, but like
right. Same basic premise.
Mr. Carter. Shout out to Mr. Carter though for
Yeah.
making me love literature a little bit. You know. But it's about like it's got necrophilia in it. It's got all the good stuff that you want in a good song, you know. But
Well, the difference in us. The difference in us.
but in all seriousness, it's a very catchy song. The music is fantastic, and like you don't listen to it as like this is my meaning, but you listen to it as like this is a very funny lyrical concept, and you listen to it that way. And
Right.
you're gonna laugh about it because it's a good song, it's catchy, and the lyrics are pretty fun to sing along with, you know. Oh yeah, like honestly, if you ask any of my like friends, they know exactly what that song is.
Right.
Like the ones that I hung out with like all the time, like Kyle or Mandy.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Mandy.
Me and her used to sing that song together a lot because we were weird.
Yeah. Well, no, your words, not mine.
You know. But yeah.
My number 7 is, let's see, an artist that actually has a lot of songs on Guitar Hero through DLC and main set list songs.
I'm listening.
Oh,
Oh, I left some residue.
I'll nail it on the table
no.
too. No, bud. You went a little too assertive on that one.
Aggressive as
Shout out to the bloopers on the camera. Let's go.
It's all over me. Towel.
Yeah, go in next to the sink, left, in the top drawer.
Top drawer.
Find them?
Y'all.
Okay.
It's a dish rag that I found, but it's
Yeah, that'll work. And then you want to grab
That'll
the
do.
table as well.
Yeah,
My
oh, yeah.
number 7 is Enough Space by Foo Fighters.
Ooh, Foo Fighters. That was one of the bands that I didn't put on my list that I wish I would have.
They have a lot of singles. Guitar Hero 2 has Monkey Wrench. That may be their most Everlong. Everlong was on Guitar.
Learn to Fly, which was on Rock Band, but not on Guitar Hero, right?
Right, yes. Rock Band 1, yes. I think it's enough. You could have chosen almost any song from Color in the Shape, just in case, yeah. Any song from Color in the Shape.
Yeah, they're one of those bands where you could name off like 15 songs. And not
Even they had a song that almost made my list. It was exclusive to their greatest hits called Wheels. It was never a song on any of their other albums, but it made their greatest hits.
Okay.
And that's an amazing song, and I think it's very slept on as well.
No.
They have a lot of hits.
Yeah, that's. I have like a bunch of bands that I wanted to put on my list. That Foo Fighters was one of the bands. They didn't make my list because I was like, I pretty much made my list in like 10 minutes. I was like, oh, this, and this. And then I think I had to pick like 2 or 3 that I was like, to fill out. But
They are really keeping traditional rock alive. Because you get like heavy metal on one end that has a lot of different ways to pull from, and you have indie rock, which has a lot of like places to pull from, and then you have traditional just 4-letter rock.
Yeah.
And you don't get that a lot in today's primary music.
Some Stone Sour. I don't know if you've listened to them a lot. They're the band that wrote Through Glass.
Okay.
They have not a lot, but some songs that are still rock. They've kind of evolved into a more heavy, because I mean it's the lead singer of Slipknot, so it's he's gonna eventually like find a medium, like a common ground between the two bands. But Stone Sour definitely does that sort of thing too.
Yeah, and I think Foo Fighters Foo Fighters are leading the charge for modern rock.
Have you ever heard of Highly Suspect?
No.
They're not. I don't know that they're on Guitar Hero. They're not on my list for sure, but they're kind of modern rock too. You might appreciate them too.
Right.
Sorry to get distracted.
Oh, no worries. But this is kind of like the music or a music lover's opportunity to geek out. So my number 7 is Enough Space by Guitar Hero, or by not Guitar Hero, Foo Fighters. Not on Guitar Hero.
My number 7 spot was I Remember You by Skid Row.
Skid Row.
So they had 18 in Life on Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s.
Rocks the 80s, which was Shane really appreciates Rock the 80s.
Rock the 80s was the one where I learned how to tap on Guitar Hero.
Really?
Yeah. Like I played it so much that I was like, oh, I can tap this phrase, and then made the game so much easier. But I Remember You is this like iconic like glam metal power ballad, and it's one of my like I used to love glam metal. I don't know if you remember that or not, but
no.
That's what I.
What would you classify? Do you think glam metal is the same as like hair metal or hair rock?
So I would say that hair metal's an all-encompassing term for glam metal and the metal bands that had big hair. Like I would say it's like a double dip.
What do you think of of glam metal or glam rock or whatever you call it, and heavy metal bands with big hair? What do you think the two like prime examples would be of the two?
So, the obvious one for metal with big hair would have been Metallica in the 80s. They were a hair band in the 80s. So was Megadeth and a lot of bands like that. Glam metal would be Def Leppard, Poison. Motley Crue. Those were glam metal bands.
More of almost like pop rock, what you would consider pop rock today.
They were pretty... You would consider pop rock today, sort of. I think they were still heavier than a lot of modern music, because if you really listen to the guitar work for like especially Motley Crue, Def Leppard has some insane guitar solos, and the live intro to Pour Some Sugar on Me even has sweep picking in it, which wasn't even like really integrated into modern music until Avenged Sevenfold like sort of took it away.
Can you describe, as a guy who like taught himself how to play guitar, what is sweep picking? So
sweep picking is like a pretty difficult concept in guitar. Basically, it's where you play an arpeggio, and you will start with like you say like you're playing an F sharp scale. You would like play like from the 13th fret on like the A string, and you play the scale downwards, like one note per string, not the whole scale, but it all falls in, and you do that like very quickly. And this hand does a sweeping motion up and down, and it's how you get that like really like just like. I don't want to say messy, but it just sounds so fast, like they're picking incredibly fast.
Gotcha.
And they're just doing this motion over and over again. And it's the solo for Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold, if you remember that, or Seize the Day. Either one of those guitar solos have insane sweep picking phrases, actually. But,
wow. Okay.
So Def Leppard did that. Skid Row was a glam band. Loved them. I Remember You is a fantastic song. This spot was actually going to be on Skinny Bop by Poison, but then I remember that as on Warriors of Rock.
Gotcha.
Had to get booted out of the list, and I put my favorite power ballad. Guns N' Roses I put in that genre too.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They're sort
of a glam band.
Yeah, they're sort of riding the middle though.
I think they're like head on the middle, because they definitely like were a little heavier, had a little bit more intense stuff.
Yeah.
For like
My Michelle. That's a interesting song.
My number 6, correct?
Yeah.
My number 6 is a band that had many songs on Guitar Hero. I can't think what exactly their main one. They had a song I think on Guitar Hero 1. But my number 6 is Foreplay Long Time by Boston.
Yeah, they had More Than a Feeling.
More Than a Feeling, yep, that's what I thought was on Guitar Hero 1.
Yep.
Foreplay Long Time was actually on Rock Band. And
that's a good point, yeah.
Was their drums on that were... because you had the... I think that is one of Boston's greatest. Boston has a lot of great hits. I think the thing that plagues Boston is a lot of their hits sound similar.
Yeah. They suffer from AC/DC syndrome.
Yeah,
as I would like to call it, because they their music is amazing. Like
one of the greatest.
Wise,
yes,
they're insane, but they do sound very similar. All their songs,
Yeah.
Not all, but most.
A lot of them. So I think Foreplay Long Time is one of those examples of...
Saw your eyes seeking.
Yeah, of the the gnat got back.
I just knocked him out. It was a KO punch, you know?
I thought you were going
Lizard tongue it.
I definitely think Foreplay Long Time is one of their best songs. That intro, and then the intro to Long Time, where it's the like that gets me every time, and it's like so empowering. I think it's an amazing song, and I think Rock Band did a great job of like bringing that to the rhythm genre.
No, I love that song on Rock Band. Me and Zane, I don't know if you remember him or not, but me and him used to play that song a lot. That and Green Grass and High Tides.
Who is that by again?
I have no idea.
That I remember playing that, and
that song was like 13 minutes long.
Yeah.
And
I can hear it.
That was the first song we got 1,000,000 points on.
That was by The Outlaws.
Okay.
Couldn't name another song by them, but that is an awesome song.
Yeah.
So my number 6, Foreplay Long Time. Saw on Rock Band, but never on Guitar Hero.
My number 6 is Got the Life by Korn.
When we are hitting such a different list. We thought there would be no crossover.
Yeah, I didn't expect there to be, and I think that like the next 5, maybe...
There's no chance. I really think there's no chance that you and I hit a single crossover.
There's potential for 2 of the songs.
Wow.
But it might, the bands probably. Maybe not the songs.
Okay.
Because one of mine's a pretty niche choice, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways.
My number 1.
Better be the Beastie Boys for that. I thought about putting them on my list, actually.
So, Korn,
yeah. So,
Korn had on Guitar Hero 3 was...
Not 3, it's 4. I thought it was 3 as well. But I've been playing 3 and it's not on there, so it has to be 4 because it's in that time frame.
Slipknot had a song Guitar
The day
Hero.
before I forget.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
Slipknot, I forgot Slipknot was on 3 and not...
Yeah. But they had Freak on a Leash on 4, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And that was the... Yeah, that one. Yeah. It's one of my favorite Korn songs. Okay. But that probably is my favorite Korn song.
But it had to be replaced.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, so you had to replace it.
So I chose Got the Life. I was actually going to do Falling Away From Me, which is like a very popular Korn song. If you've heard Korn, you've probably heard Falling Away From Me. But I chose Got the Life because it was like... that was actually the song that got me really into Korn. I had heard them for pretty much my whole life, and then I like one day I was flipping through radio stations and Got the Life came on, and I was like wow, this is actually really catchy. So then that became my one of, if not my favorite Korn song. It's somewhere around those 3, I would say. I do like their newer stuff. I really like Hater. The Path of Totality, the one that they mixed with dubstep and shit with.
Wow.
I don't know if you've heard that at all, but that song has some pretty interesting music to it. And then their follow-up, I don't know if that was Paradigm Shift or not. I can't remember. I've lost track. I kind of stopped listening to Korn, to be honest. But
right.
I think it was Paradigm Shift, but they had Never Never, Hater, and Hater may have been the new CD, actually.
I have distinct memories of listening to Korn, but it was the ride down for Gunner's 13th birthday.
Imagine that.
We went to Hooters in Louisville.
A band with a lot of bass, and you're talking about doing something with Gunner.
We were listening to Twisted Transistor.
Hey now, Devil's little sister. Yeah, I like that song
Listening
too.
to your Twisted Transistor. That I have distinct memories of listening to that song and seeing the cover. That was the one with the rabbit on the cover, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love Korn, honestly. I don't listen to them a whole lot anymore because I've kind of changed away from that style.
Right.
But it's something I can definitely jam to. I might actually go see them in Chicago in like 2 weeks. I may, whenever I'm up there.
Ooh.
So maybe. maybe.
Maybe.
There's a story to that. We'll get to that later, but not on that. That's post Bud's production.
Post Bud's production. My number 5, an artist who I think had a few songs on Guitar Hero. Their one that I really enjoyed playing was actually a co-op only song for Guitar Hero 3.
Okay.
"Burnin' For You" by Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
I love that song. I've had a resurgence of loving Blue Oyster Cult.
So, "Burnin' For You" is on Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock.
No!
I played it this morning.
No! Then we'll go with "Fear the Reaper."
No problem with that.
Yeah, I can address
"Burnin'
that.
For You" is my favorite song by them.
It's amazing.
I love that song.
"Cities on Flames" with "Rock and Roll" is such a fun song to play on Guitar Hero 3.
You know, now that I think of it, "Burnin' For You" might be on 2 Guitar Heroes.
Is it really?
Maybe. I remember playing that. For You.
But I've had a resurgence with loving 70s rock, as you'll see like in a later choice of mine. I think 70s rock is, in my opinion, better than 80s rock.
I think if you choose 70s, 80s, or 90s, there's a huge debate between all 3, and it depends on what stage of my life I'm on of what I've chosen between those 3. So.
Yeah, so I definitely think Blue Oyster Cult is a band that I'm listening to a lot of their hits, and I need to just sit down and listen to their albums. Mm-hmm. But I think freaking "Burnin' For You" is such a good song to listen to. It's such an easy listener.
Oh yeah, no, I love that song.
What'd you find? Was it just on?
I think it's just Warriors of Rock.
Just Warriors of Rock. But we'll go with.
I think it was on the radio or something one time whenever I was playing Guitar Hero. Because I would turn the volume off because I got to the point where I was just learning how to get better at songs and I wasn't listening. I was tired of the same songs. Mm-hmm. So I probably listened to that song while I was playing.
But "Fear the Reaper" is not as good of a song in my opinion, but it's more iconic because of the Saturday Night Live skit with more cowbell with Will Ferrell and I always forget his name.
I can see his face, but I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, you'll see the name later, but I need more cowbell.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
I could not remember what his name was.
As soon as I did the impression, I knew.
Yeah, I know. I could see his face, and I could see even his mouth whenever he was saying.
So my number 5 is the band Blue Oyster Cult. We now have "Don't Fear the Reaper," but it was originally "Burnin' For You."
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put what I believe is going to be the heaviest song on the entire list of either one of us. 512 by Lamb of God. Mm-hmm. So they had "Laid to Rest" on Guitar Hero 3, and it's also on Smash Hits because
it was on Guitar Hero 2, I think. It was not on 3 because...
It was on 2. Yeah, you're
because
right.
I had 3, and I remember distinctly not playing that song.
Yeah, it's definitely 2 because it has a horrible cover. But...
the covers of Guitar Hero.
The covers on Guitar Hero were awful. Freaking Beast and the Harlot made me mad. That one was the worst cover I've ever heard in my entire life.
There are some bad covers.
Well, okay, actually, I would say that was the worst cover of I heard in my entire life, but I went to Slimmo's last weekend, and
why are you at Slimmo's?
I was with my brother-in-law, okay? It happens. Anyways, this band was playing, right? The worst band I've ever heard in my entire life, okay? They were playing "Outshine" by Soundgarden, and it was out of key, out of tune, and I'm like, oh my god, you're disgracing a god.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to Chris Cornell.
And if you don't know how bad Slimmo's is,
it's the worst bar on the planet.
It's really bad.
Maybe not the worst bar on the planet, but it's the worst bar in Salem, which should tell you a lot.
Yeah, Salem is a town of 6,000 where we're originally from, where we went to high school together, but Salem is not known for its bars.
No, they don't got a good bar scene.
Yeah. So
512 by Lamb of God is an incredible song. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Randall Blythe, the lead singer of Lamb of God, got arrested in Prague because they were doing a concert and this guy was crowd surfing and he climbed on stage. Well, he pushed him out like this, normal, rock star stuff. Everybody lost their mind. The guy hit his head landing.
Oh.
Guy died.
No.
Yeah, so...
Was this recent?
This is probably 2012.
Okay.
So he was arrested for like 6 months or something like that. While he was in jail, he started writing lyrics, which he's already a really smart guy. You know, he's very well educated, which, you know, surprising for the way his voice sounds, but reads books. That's what he does in his spare time, is reads. Mm-hmm. And so he wrote a song called 512, and that was his experience living in the jail cell or whatever. And it starts out with like spoken words, and it's like, says like 6 bars laid across the sky, 4 empty walls to fill the time. Like that's very deep, like poetry if you really think about it. And like the whole song just has this, it's like, it was actually Heavy Metal Song of the Year in 2015.
Wow. Okay. Who was it voted by?
Metal Hammer.
Okay. Do you think that's a respectable choice? So
yeah, they do the Golden Gods and stuff.
Okay.
So.
I'm always questioning awards given out just because of like.
No, that was Metal Hammer. So like, they're probably the only respectable metal place to go to, honestly.
Cool.
So.
That's good background for me to know.
Yeah.
That it was that good of a song.
Yeah. No. Whenever, like, I've listened to that CD multiple times. He actually experienced with regular singing in that CD for the first time. I think he does it in one of their recent releases, but this is the first time he sings, and it's everything that they did in this song is just so good. Like, it obviously, if you don't like the screaming lyrics and can't get past that, you're not going to enjoy the CD.
Right.
But if you, like, you know, I understand it and I can hear it because I've trained myself to sing like that and stuff. So, like, whenever you listen to it and you can understand it, like, you're like, damn, that is, like, they're really good lyrics. And I think it's incredible. Like, I love the whole thing. But
right.
That song, honestly, I was like actually in like a pretty shitty like mindset whenever I heard that song, and I was like sort of listened to that and I was like, damn, if he can do with that, I can like do with anything. So like sort of inspired me. So that like adds a little bit extra emotional value from my perspective too.
Right.
So yeah.
That's cool.
It's 512 by Lamb of God. Devil Horns to the Sky.
My number 4 is maybe the only band based on both of our lists that has played a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Okay. They had I know at least one song on Guitar Hero 3. The song is Painted Black. And the song would be Beast of Burden by Rolling Stones.
See, that was a risky choice. Saying it's like not that song exactly,
but Rolling Stones.
Saying not Rolling Stones. Saying that they're the only band on either one of our lists that played Super Bowl.
Knowing your list,
because I could have played I could have chosen Metallica or Aerosmith, which are 2 of my favorite bands.
You could have also chosen Michael Jackson as well.
That's true.
Because Michael Jackson did do the Super Bowl, and he also had Beat It on Guitar Hero 4.
I forgot about that. So
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson is amazing.
I'm
surprised I didn't pick a Michael Jackson song.
No, if I would have known that would have probably replaced I Remember You. I would have done Billie Jean.
Oh.
Or Thriller. Or any of his hits.
Any of the songs off Thriller in general. I mean, he even had a song with Paul McCartney off that album. He had Paul McCartney and Eddie Van Halen featured on that album. Eddie Van Halen was obviously on guitar.
That's actually ridiculous. I didn't know that Paul McCartney was on there, but
yeah, he has a song where they do like a duet, and it's about like them singing to a girl.
Okay.
And like they're both like competing about like who loves a girl more. Mm-hmm. So it's very cool. But I chose Beast of Burden. I was never a Rolling Stones fan growing up, ever. Even whenever I remember watching them play at the Super Bowl, but not being a fan. And now I've come to this point where I'm like, what was I missing out on? They were a band that I really need to appreciate more.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, the only song I like by them is I Ain't Got No Satisfaction.
Yeah, that's a great song too.
Yeah.
But the entire album that Beast of Burden is on, it also has Miss You.
Okay.
And that is a phenomenal album. They actually have a country-like parody song on that album. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's very strange, but it's an awesome album. I think it definitely fits into a genre that I was missing out on.
Okay.
And so my number 4 is Beast of Burden by Rolling Stones.
So my number 4 is a band that you had mentioned when we were talking about Korn, Slipknot.
Okay.
That's why I kind of laughed whenever you said that.
You just were like, keep it under wraps.
Yeah. The Devil and I.
Okay.
Is it's off of the Gray Chapter. I couldn't remember the name of the CD. I had to look. But anyways, I love that album. It's new. It was written because their bass player Paul Gray died, and so that's why it's called the Gray Chapter. It's post-death, obviously, and it has like his last, the last song he wrote or whatever, which I think was I don't remember which song. One of the songs was the last.
Now, did he do the majority of the songwriting for them, or did he just?
He was one of the main songwriters. Corey Taylor, I think, is the primary.
Right.
Which makes sense. Either him or Jim Root are both fantastic musicians.
Right.
But I mean, their band in general is like stacked. You know, if you really think it's about Slipknot, you could almost classify that as a super group. It has so many fantastic musicians in it.
Right.
I think they have like 13 members or something. But,
wow.
The Devil and I is one of my favorite songs to play on a guitar. It has just like chuggy, like sort of like slower pace to it. I'll just wait. I've already made a plan for that.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
Yeah, you might have ruined the surprise though. Anyways, The Devil and I is probably the best Slipknot song that's come out in a long time, probably since Iowa.
Okay.
Which, if you don't know, that's like the one that came out before the CD with Before I Forget and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's like their last heavy CD, but I love that song. It's like soft and hard at the same time. Like, I was gonna make a joke, but I'm gonna pass on that.
Let's leave that for the post Buds Productions.
But yeah, that's The Devil and I by Slipknot. If the Gray Chapter, a whole CD, you should check it out if you haven't already, because it came out 3 years ago.
My number 3 is by one of my favorite bands of all time.
Okay.
It is a song that was actually a very difficult guitar song on Rock Band.
Okay.
Snow, Hey Yo by Red Hot Chili
Peppers.
I think that is an amazing song. It is such a fun guitar song to listen to. I mean, you just think of like the verses and just how that, how would you even describe that? The picking sequence? Is that what you would describe that as?
Well, so the song is actually played with like, it's an arpeggio with a hammer on it, so it's like like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah.
So to use the technical terms, it just has an amazing sound. Vocals are very light. He kind of has that like rap singing that Anthony Kiedis is known for.
Yeah.
But yet it still just has that like pop and just that
no, that's
very relaxed sound.
That's one of those iconic rock songs that like get you into rock music. A lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I actually forgot Higher Ground was on Guitar Hero.
I know Higher Ground is on there, and then Suck My Kiss.
I forgot that was on there too. Shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
You get so excited for those songs.
Yeah.
But yet they had so many good songs that you could pull from. I mean, like Californication is a very like iconic sound.
No, if I would have remembered that they were on Guitar Hero, I would have put Love Roller Coaster, because they have a cover of Love Roller Coaster, and it's an amazing cover. And like, did I listen to that whenever it like pops on my Spotify? I'll turn my radio all the way up and dance like a weird guy.
Like we already are weird guys.
Weirder guy.
Weirder, there we go. But you could have picked so many good anything off of
Peppers, you could have picked so much.
Anything off of Stadium Arcadium, really I could have picked. Because I love Stadium Arcadium as an album.
Yeah. No, that's a good pick. I forgot they were on Guitar Hero. Or I like I said, I would have put Love Roller Coaster.
Higher Ground was Guitar Hero 1, right?
Yeah.
And then Suck My Kiss was Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah,
so
it was a co-op only song. That's why I haven't seen it.
Yes.
You can play it in quick play, but I've been doing like career to boost my scores. Even
I
though
always remember.
I'm worse than I used to be, so it's not.
It's not gonna matter.
It's not gonna matter, yeah.
But my number 3 is Snow Heyo by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's your top 2 have to be insane. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. My number 3 is No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne.
There we go.
So, the top 3 are actually like all iconic music for like not just personal.
There's a lot of songs you could have picked for Ozzy though.
I chose No More Tears.
Including Black Sabbath.
Yeah, so I chose No More Tears for a specific reason. It has perhaps my favorite guitar solo of all time in it. Mm-hmm. It's not the most ridiculous guitar solo, but like it has this build up. So if you know the song, it's like sort of like slow pace and stuff, and then this guitar solo is like got like piano playing.
Mm-hmm.
It starts out with that, and it's like really epic and stuff, and then there's like some like a radio clip of something. It's political of some kind. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that Zakk Wylde is like his first album with Ozzy when he was 19, by the way. He just shreds this unbelievable guitar solo, and you're like, holy shit. The first time you hear that song, it's just up here, like an extra level of music. Like I said, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but just the sound that Zakk Wylde produces, it's just insane. It's unbelievable. I almost actually put a Black Label Society song on as well, just because Zakk Wylde he's an incredible guitarist that doesn't get the respect he deserves. But I was trying to keep it somewhat like PG, you know. So I like, and a lot of his music is like opens up some weird debates. So
okay,
you gotta kind of avoid that. Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears, iconic guitar solo, top 5 all time in my opinion.
My number 2 is a band probably you may or may not have heard of. You thought they would be like amazing like artists, but they're more like nostalgia picks. You know, you kind of have like a bias towards artists. I can't remember which Guitar Hero they were on. I think it was a later one. May have been Guitar Hero Live, which, but
I
it's
haven't, but I like.
The song is "Mind Over Matter" by Young the Giant. Young the Giant is a indie rock band.
Okay.
They're known for Cough Syrup is their like biggest hit. Apartments, a lot of stuff off their first album. Like I said, you wouldn't have known. But they are a band that I had a friend, the friend that painted this picture of. She put me onto them a couple years ago, and they're just a great sound. It's cool. One of their things that they do on their YouTube channel, they do their covers of their own songs, but it's called In the Open. And so they'll play the song on acoustic, but it'll be like outside, so it has like echoes, or they'll play like in a cave, so it has like better acoustics.
Yeah, so that reminds me of Motionless in White. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I don't know if they have a song on Guitar Hero. They would have definitely made the list because I've been on a Motionless in White quick kick recently. Mm-hmm. But their guitarist will write acoustic covers of their songs, and he'll sing them, and they're like super heavy. They play in drop A. If you know tunings, that's like 7 steps lower than standard tuning.
Wow.
Super low tune.
Okay.
But he'll write acoustic covers, and he's got like his voice sounds like angelic, where like they're like so like deep and guttural in most of their music. So that's sort of what that reminds me of.
We're talking about acoustic covers. One of my, surprisingly, didn't make my list. My favorite album by them is their MTV Unplugged, and it's Alice in Chains.
Oh.
That acoustic performance is near perfect.
There was 3 bands that I chose not to put on the list because of their lead singers died to like drug related things. And
you chose
I chose that just because I don't want to like don't get me wrong, if I put them on the list, they would be like probably like 2, 3, and 4. Mm-hmm. That's Soundgarden, because Chris Cornell died. We still don't know what exactly, if he was drug related or not. It may like they found a lot of like depression medication in his system.
Yeah.
So like he could have overdosed intentionally. He may have liked the feeling or something. So I don't want to celebrate that too much. He would have probably been like 2 or 3 on the list. Alice in Chains would have been the other 2 and 3, whichever order I chose.
And would be Lane Stanley, right?
Yeah, Lane Staley. I love him. Alice in Chains is one of my favorite music groups there are. Actually, I would say they're my number 2 overall behind Pantera.
Yeah. Spoilers.
But no, and the last would be Scott Weiland's Stone's Temple Pilots. I love Stone Temple Pilots, but heroin overdose, suicide. Not a great message to send as a celebratory thing. But,
right. So I can respect that.
But yeah.
So yes, that MTV Unplugged is amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of the MTV Unplugged are amazing. I also think Nirvana's is very good.
Oh yeah, they were another one I thought about putting on my list. But
another one that's suicide.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe.
So I know you've never heard of them, but they're a great band. Young the Giant, Mind Over Matter. That was actually on the Mind Over Matter album. Mm-hmm. So it was like the title track of their album. So
I'll have to check that out whenever this episode is posted and the playlists are in the description.
We are doing Spotify playlists in the description. I wanted to keep that under wraps until we decide to reveal it.
Oh.
But hey,
sorry.
Hey, we're revealing it now, right on air. You'll be getting to see these top 10s, these top 10 lists as listenable playlists. Mm-hmm. It'll be very cool to be able to experience the differences in our taste.
Yep.
And we'll be able to experience those different tastes as well.
Yeah, because we have, even though we have a lot of similar tastes in general, music, we have very different spectrums, And I think that it kind of, it's not that we necessarily dislike each other's taste, it's not our thing.
Just wait for my number 1. So my number 2 is Mind Over Matter by Young the Giant.
If it's Backstreet Boys, I'm punching them. I don't know if they have a song Guitar Hero.
Don't lock yourself out of your phone.
My number 2 song, we talked about Number of the Beast earlier, so this list would not be complete without an Iron Maiden song.
Of course.
So I chose Fear of the Dark.
Okay.
Because that is my all-time favorite Iron Maiden song. They had actually had 2 songs, Number of the Beast and Wrathchild on Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s.
Okay.
Maybe more. Those are the 2 I know of. But Iron Maiden is insane. If you've listened to Iron Maiden, you're like, wow, this band is incredible.
Their covers actually were the things that drew me in.
Like covers of them, or
the covers of their albums.
Oh, their album art. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, they have fantastic ones. That's actually, I never really thought about that as a reason to draw you in. I'm a guitar guy, so
right.
Their music is just.
But if you see it on a shelf and you're like, that sticks out amongst the crowd for many reasons.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That skeleton.
Oh,
you see that somewhere and you're gonna be like, I want that album. But Fear of the Dark, as we're gonna talk about later, I'm a horror guy. I love horror music and movies and all kinds of stuff like that. So Fear of the Dark just sort of encapsulates the idea of who I'm about, I guess. I love that song. It's a beautiful song in general, and it's hard rock and awesome. Totally rad, dude. Yeah, had to do the accent.
That's the Kyle.
Kyle, get it.
My number 1 is an artist, not a band, an artist. It's not a rock. It's not in the rock.
Is it gonna be Taylor Swift?
No.
Close?
No.
Okay.
He had a song on Guitar Hero Live, which was
everybody had a song on Guitar Hero Live. I have a song on Guitar Hero Live.
His song on Guitar Hero Live was "Erase Me," featuring Kanye West. The song is "Day and Night" by Kid Cudi. I am a big Kid Cudi fan.
That's on Guitar Hero?
Yeah, "Erase Me" by Kid Cudi is a Guitar Hero Live song. I did not believe it, but I could not leave him off the list because he defines my taste of music.
Oh no, absolutely.
And that was like my first taste of like what rap could be. I was never a big rap guy. I like through high school up until my junior, senior year, I only listened to like Foo Fighters and like that type of like rock.
Okay, yeah.
And then I found Cudi, and it was like, this is amazing. And Day and Night may be his biggest song.
Yeah, that's the only song I know by him. So.
Right. And it may not be my favorite, but I definitely think it has to be like appreciated for like listening to it. Like it's got such a catchy tune, but yet it's so like dark in tone. Mm-hmm. Like you know what it's about, and you're just like, this guy's life kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. I like I said, it's like one of the only songs I know by him in general, but that's one of those songs you can appreciate. Like even though, because it's not like my problem with modern rap, and sorry for this being a tangent.
Go ahead.
Is
I've opened up this can of worms.
There's a lot of like not good lyrics. Mm-hmm. The lyrics are bad. Sampling gets oversaturated at times. Like Avery's song that we were talking about earlier, he sampled music, which is fine, but like he didn't overdo it. Like some bands like have gotten to the point where like I can't tell the difference between Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. I know they're not rap, but they're pop music, and rap feeds off of that so much. Mm-hmm. And modern rap just sort of misses the point of what rap was about. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because I always viewed growing up, I viewed rap and metal in the same kind of category. Like, because Tupac and Eminem, those were the two that always stood out to me. Both of them were like, you know, you can appreciate them as musicians, and it's like they still sort of have that like rebellious nature that metal has too. Right. And like their lyrics and everything, their characters and stuff. They're good people, but like they don't fuck with them kind of thing.
Right.
Rap sort of like, oh, I dropped an F-bomb, didn't me?
You were like so oblivious to it as well.
No, it's casual for me. No, that's what like my problem is it's like they've lost that. Like, you know, like I've listened to modern rap songs that I don't dislike, but it's just so much of it is so vanilla to me, and it's like I don't understand the appreciation of that as much. Like That's what I don't get. It's not necessarily that I'm like jealous or something. It's just like, why? Like, you know, kind of thing. Because like I said, you can listen to any kind of music you want, and I'll listen to it with you. I'm always open. I have an open ear. I love music. I listen to music 10 hours a day, maybe.
Right.
And so I have no problems with like that kind of music, but I'm just not familiar with it.
Right.
Also, minor side note: the beer stains your pants if you spill it on it.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
It's the toffee.
Is there's toffee?
Yeah. Dark and opaque with a big roasty malty nose and a slight hint of coffee and notes of sweet toffee, all swaddled in a nutty creaminess. This beer delivers the full-bodied mouth to fill you expect from a stout.
Triton, if you need a spokesperson, you got him right here. Zeb Ehringer. But yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely own my parallels with rap, like modern rap, especially from like the 2000s onward, was country music. Because I actually think country, they talk cars. You know, they may talk their Lambos, and country music talks their trucks.
Oh, I have a whole nother rant for country.
And they talk about girls a lot. Both of them do. So I definitely think those two have parallels, especially modern country and modern rap. But I think Cudi was, especially back in his heyday, was he was the outlier. Okay. He talked about a lot of drug abuse.
So he was kind of real about the way that he... And see, I appreciate that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Especially his second album, he gets into, like, his heroin addiction and his, what weed and smoking, those type of songs. One of my favorite songs by him is called Don't Play This Song. And it's about him listening to this song unless he's... the chorus for it goes, "Want to know what this sounds like when I'm not on drugs? Please don't play this song." So like,
I've heard that actually. I didn't know who that was.
That was Cudi.
I've heard that song.
Oh yeah. So and it's very like the same song. He says, "People people really think they'd be helpful by telling me, please be careful, don't write.
Yeah.
And it's like, those type of lyrics, you're just like, holy crap, that's like a depth that you didn't think rap could hit.
Yeah. Well, unless you go back to the like kings of rap, you know, like
right.
they always that's the thing with Tupac, is he had lines that were like so meaningful that people just overlooked. And like, I mean, as music, his music is amazing. Like California Love is fantastic, but like he has a line that says like the nation isn't ready for a black president and stuff like that. Obviously we've had a black president since then, but like we weren't ready whenever Tupac was alive. And like that kind of stuff is so deep, and like to understand it at that level and saying it from like it's like he's a thinker versus a sayer, you know? Like I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
it makes total sense, because some people speak with their mouth first before they speak with their mind. Yeah. And I think Tupac's the exact opposite.
Yeah. And
he spoke a lot with his mouth, but his mind was first.
Yeah, exactly. And if Cudi like says stuff like that and like actually is open with it, like, you know, I'll give that kind of music a try any day of the week, because my thing with music is it has to like spread like their passion, and I have to like actually be able to feel the music, you know? Like it's not just about sound with music, and that's like the top choice that I have on my list, which we'll get to in a second. That's exactly the reason why they're such a big band for me, is because of the way that they make you feel whenever you listen to their music. So.
Right. And Cudi may have like, he's taken a musical twist, or not musical twist, but his direction of music, you know, I'm not a big fan of anymore, but his first two albums are like, in my opinion, must-knowns for anyone who like wants something meaningful in rap today. Okay. Yeah. So my number one is Day and Night by Kid Cudi.
Alright. My number one is a very hard choice for me, because I could have made a top 20 list of this band. And the band is Pantera. The song I'm going to choose for my list is Cemetery Gates.
Okay.
So I talked about earlier, No More Tears had the iconic guitar solo. This has the guitar solo, but it also has that like unbridled like passion that you can feel in Dimebag Darrell. Like the guitar riff is what turned me from, you know, I started playing guitar, I played Leonard Skinner and stuff like that. That's what I was into. And then I heard Pantera, and I was like, because it's like he makes sounds with the guitar that if you pick up a guitar for the first time, you know, you're like, oh, like harmonic, you know, you make that sound. Like, you know what it sounds like when you depress a fret on the fretboard. You know that kind of stuff, you know what a chord sounds like. But then you hear Dimebag Darrell play, and you hear these squeals, and you hear dive bombs, and you hear this shit, and you're like, what is that? And the chorus to Cemetery Gates, I have no idea how this song isn't on Guitar Hero, because one, the guitar solo is insanely difficult. Like it would be hard to pass, like for the not expert level. If you played expert level 5-star everything, you'd pass the song pretty easy. But like that guitar solo is just unreal. And at the end of the song, him and Phil Anselmo, the singer from Pantera, they get into like a contest to see who can go higher. Phil's singing his highest notes, screaming the word Gates, because, you know, like that's like it is a 90s song, so you expect it. And he's screaming that at the top of his lungs, as high pitch as he can go. And Dimebag's answering with these dive bombs that are just so high pitched that it's like, wow. And like the whole like song itself is just such a beautiful song, and it's like it changed my life, honestly, whenever I heard it the first time, because I played Metallica, and I could play every Metallica song in the book in high school. It was like second nature. I was like, you know, every song is the same exact kind of fretting and stuff. Nothing too difficult. I heard this song, and I was like, I don't even know what that note is. I was like, that note doesn't exist. Like, thinking that in my head. And then, you know, I looked up, like, how does he do this kind of thing? And I, like, did research, and I learned how to do it. And, like, just the way that he played, and not just this song. The other song that I was, like sort of a tie is Walk by Pantera.
Okay, yeah.
So that's their hit. Like, if you go to a metal show and you don't hear Walk, the people in the sound booth don't know music, and you should go to a different concert, because like it's I've never been to a metal concert where Walk didn't play between set lists.
Right.
It's that big of a song. It's normally the first song. Walk is a special character because it's 2 notes like through like until except for the chorus plays like 3 extra notes, but like the root is just like dun, 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 dun. It's super slow. They actually did it to the pace of a heart, so it's like 60 beats per minute. So which is an awesome concept because they're like, oh, let's write a song that's like metal's all fast and stuff. Like, let's write a song that's like slow.
Yeah.
But like it's so heavy. Like I would say it's one of the heaviest songs that's ever been written. And they have a couple of songs like that. It's just mind blowing how heavy these songs are. Like there's a song they have called Slaughtered that's just like, it's not very popular, but it's like one of these songs where it's just like ridiculous. Like, what is this? Like the way he plays the guitar speaks to you, and if you play guitar, it's even more ridiculous. So
right.
I chose Cemetery Gates simply for the fact that it's everything you want in a song. Where Walk is like the best, maybe the best pure metal song ever. Cemetery Gates is one. It has like an all-time guitar solo. You know, like Up With No More Tears. You know, and Jimi Hendrix. You know, he's the only guitarist that played to the same level as Jimi Hendrix. Like that. That's a true. Like in my opinion, and like a lot of metal guys, if you ask them who the best guitarist of all time, they're gonna say Dimebag Darrell versus Jimi Hendrix, which is a normal choice. So.
Right.
I could ramble about Pantera for hours, so I'll cut that short.
Leave it be.
But yeah, if you like metal and you haven't heard of Pantera, like go check out any of their songs. They had Cowboys from Hell on Guitar Hero 1.
Yep.
I'm Broken on Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. They have a song called Mouth for War that's it's a groove fest. They're groove metal. That's what their like classification is. And go check them out. You know, they're amazing. And I'm actually, both Walk and Cemetery Gates will be on my playlist. So.
Right, because you were debating between which ones to decide.
Yeah, I did. Originally, before we decided one artist, I had them at 1 and 2 because I couldn't decide which one I wanted. But.
Right. So those are top 10/11 lists. Well, I had 11 as well since I had Burn for You and Fear the Reaper.
Yeah.
Don't Fear the Reaper. So those 2 will be on my list, even though 1 is technically cheating. Don't even care. It's that good of a song.
It's perfectly understandable. Some of these may be DLCs too that I don't know about, but
so those are lists. You'll see those in the description. Zeb kind of alluded to where we're going with this next discussion, and that is actually talking about the horror genre of movies. A genre that I am familiar with but do not watch. I do not partake in. I'm not a fan of, just because I don't like that that emotion to be prodded at. Okay. But Zeb is very into the horror genre, as stated with his choice in Rob Zombie.
Yeah, and there's one other one that I mentioned it. I think Fear the Dark. Yeah. So I love horror movies. To me, it's like one of the things in life that people don't pay attention to enough, if that makes sense. Like, I think horror gives that back to people. So like comedy movies and stuff, I laugh every day. I try to make everybody that interacts with me in a day laugh.
Yeah.
So comedy would be my second favorite, if I'm being honest. But comedy's regular. Drama is regular stuff. Horror is something that you don't see every day. That's a part of life that a lot of times. You want another beer?
No, I'm good. I was feeling if they were cold.
They're not.
They're not.
I could have told you that.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
But the reason I still got here, I can finish it real quick on.
No, don't finish. Take your time. Or just finish it.
We're good.
We're good.
Anyways. Cheers. I think people forget about that part of your life a lot of times. So like, fear is something that we don't really experience on a daily basis, and that makes sense. You know, ideally, you don't want to get scared every single day of your life.
Right.
I think that would be weird. Your life would kind of suck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But on the same token, it's something that you have to, like, think about, because I think it brings up a deeper, like, connection with life in general. Because if you think about, like, how bad certain things can actually get, and then you look at it on, like, the extremes, because horror's done it. If you think about it, like, stalker on the internet, I'm sure that exists.
It does.
So stuff like that, it exists in horror genre where people just don't get to feel that every day, and that's the reason why I think it really stands out for me. Now, in particular, I'm a huge fan of monster movies.
Okay. Such as, give us some examples.
Any werewolf movie ever. I've probably seen every werewolf movie that's been released in the USA.
Okay.
Including the French ones.
Pick the iconic one that you would think.
An American Werewolf in London it's, you know, that's a vanilla answer, but it's actually probably one of the best movies ever. Like, it's because it's both comedy and horror, because Jack Landis, I can't remember if John or Jack, but one of the Landis, like dad, father, son, he wrote the movie and directed it, and he's a comedy director. So even though it's a horror movie, and like if you ask like my parents or something like that, they're gonna be like, for instance, my mom's 23 whenever that movie came out, which is younger than I am now.
Peggy!
Versus. Earlier you also didn't know who my stepdad was. It's like Big Sexy, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it. Anyway, she would have been 23 when that movie came out, which is younger than we are now. And she said whenever that, like, transformation scene in that was, like, so, like, scary to people at that time, that, like, they're like, that's believable. And if you watch it today, like, if there's gonna be a werewolf transformation that isn't, like, doesn't fit with, like, the werewolf mythology, you know, that, like, movies tend to, like, I could also go on about werewolves because I know a lot about that. But, like, mythology and werewolves, they don't transform the same way as they do in the movies. But the movie version of a transformation in American Werewolf in London is unbelievable. And for monster movies, that's the apex.
Okay.
Now, if we're going to talk about other movies, you know, so the thing is, like, the class in horror, a lot of times the classics are what you get. Like, you know, they're good for a reason. So, like, if you think about Halloween, Friday the 13th, they're watched so much because of, like, how good the movies are. A Nightmare on Elm Street would be my favorite. I mean, it's still supernatural. Freddy, you could classify as a monster.
Yeah, I would, because of him haunting in dreams.
Yeah. Now, Jason and Michael, Jason's a little bit of a monster, but Michael's technically just a human.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Michael is
Michael Myers from Halloween.
Myers, yeah, from Halloween.
Yeah. So, like, all of those three, like Nightmare on Elm Street series, Friday the 13th movies, and Halloween are all unbelievably good movies, even though they are the typical picks. A lot of times modern horror I don't agree with a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's a little oversaturated at times.
Why do you think those three in particular as monster films stand out compared to, like, the choices that modern horror makes?
Alright, so I'll compare them to Sinister.
Okay. Sinister was that based off of demons?
Sinister is like, it's Bagul. I think he is a demon. I think they call him a demon.
Okay.
It reminds me of Slender Man.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But that movie was like, the thing about movies is the ending is so much important than what people realize. And, you know, if you watch Sinister and you don't watch the last 5 minutes of it and you let your imagination do the work, that's a good movie. If you watch the last 5 minutes, you're like, this is a stupid ending. And that's what horror does today, is like they try to explain the story. They may be setting up a sequel or whatever, but that's what they sort of miss. You know, like American Werewolf in London at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. You have terrible taste in movies though. No offense.
You knew I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I know. I figured.
Yeah.
But the ending of the movie, the werewolf gets killed, and like he's in love with this lady or whatever, and like they have to kill him or whatever. So you say, oh, well, that's the ending of the movie. They still made a sequel 15 years later. You don't have to like promise a sequel in the original. Stop setting up a movie. Leave it open-ended, if anything, but like, don't overdo it. That's what horror does wrong today. Because you watch a movie like, what was it called? I just watched it with Kyle and I think Jack Blevins, if you remember him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did, but
are you kidding me? We were at Thanksgiving together.
I didn't say that. That if you remember him.
If I remember, that's obvious.
Yeah, no, I figured you remembered him, but I was saying it from...
Anyway, movie that you saw... I have no idea.
Lights Out.
Lights Out.
That was what it was called. I don't want to spoil it because it's still newish, I think. Maybe not, because I don't go to the theater ever. Anyways, like this lady is like haunted by like her friend that was like a special needs person. Or something.
That is relatively new. It's like last year or so.
Okay.
Within the last year.
Yeah, so they like bring it back to like open up a new movie at the end after they've reached a climax and a resolution, and then they like bring it up and you're like, no, stop. Like that's what modern horror does. I got really excited right there. But that's what modern horror does wrong, is that they oversell, I think would be what.
Do you think that may be a problem in today's films in general? Let's think about I went through a rant with someone at work one time about how many sequels were coming out this year. Let's think like...
Oh yeah, you went on that rant with me actually.
Transformers just had a sequel come out. We have another Marvel film that's... we had Guardians 2. We have... trying to think of other things that were...
Is there a Star Wars coming out this year?
Yes, there is. We had Independence Day get a sequel this year. We have like new and old films that are getting sequels that don't need them.
Yeah.
So I think that's honestly a plague of today's films.
So, movies like Star Wars, we'll use that as an example. I didn't like the seventh one, The Force Awakens.
It was okay. I thought it was overrated and overhyped because it was just the fourth movie.
That's exactly what I always tell people.
It is!
That's exactly what the movie was.
Just look at what it is.
The fourth one remade and like a slightly different villain.
And slightly different characters in a way. I mean, like, Finn is a little bit like different from any of the other original characters.
He's very similar to Han Solo, though.
Yes.
And like, what's her name?
Rey.
I couldn't remember it. She's very close to Leia, and she's like the combination of Luke and Leia, if you think about it.
Yeah, and then you had Poe, which was kind of like the wild card, the pilot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he might have been the wild card of like undefined characters, but then again, you also had Han Solo, you had Chewie, you had Leia, and Luke made an appearance. I'm going to spoil that because of obviously the new film.
If you haven't seen it yet, you're not going to watch it. Like till like 5 years from now, whenever, if you're a girl, your boyfriend's like, oh, you never watched Star Wars. Like,
you're gonna.
Like, that's what it is. Or if you're a guy and you're like, well, I just never really thought about watching it. Like, that's normally the two, like, things.
Just look at where, I mean, they fought on a large planet-sized, like, death machine. Mm-hmm. You have, I'm trying to think of other things. You have a scene set in the desert. You have, just trying to...
I mean, the Millennium Falcon and all of them.
Mm-hmm. You have technical torture scenes. Because I mean, like Leia is captured and tortured technically to like get the information out, and then Rey is tortured as well.
Yeah,
they have a lot of similarities. I went on this same tirade, or but rant.
Star Wars, I get. You know, they announce trilogies when they announce a movie. So I have no problem with that. Now, movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, I enjoyed the first one. I have not seen the second one. I don't plan on seeing the second one. Guardians of the Galaxy is a comic that has tons of content. And you know, you could make the movies if you really wanted to, but why? Why not like open people's eyes to the comics? You know, like that's what I think whenever I haven't watched a Marvel movie since the original Guardians.
Wow.
They sort of ruined it for me. Not that movie, but like Marvel in general, because they oversaturated the market. You know, there's 3 Iron Mans, 2 Avengers,
3 Iron Mans, 2 Avengers, 3 Captain Americas, 3 Thors.
3 Thors. I've only seen one of those.
2 Ant-Mans.
I only knew of one.
Yeah, one is coming out.
Yeah, and
Ant-Man and Wasp. 1 Doctor Strange, 1 Black Panther. The Inhumans is coming out.
Wonder Woman's DC, but it's, you know.
I mean, they're still trying to capitalize on a market that's oversaturated.
Yeah, and people are buying into it because the thing is like all of these characters are fantastic characters.
Agreed.
But they overdid it. This should have been like, and you know, slightly hypocritical of me to say this now, but whenever Iron Man 1 came out, I couldn't wait for the Avengers to start, you know?
Right.
But after I've seen all this, I'm like, well, shit, they should have put 5 years between Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, and I think it was, 3?
3, yeah, I think 3 max.
So...
And then they're going to do Infinity Gauntlet, or the Infinity Wars, Part 1 and 2.
Okay.
So, which is about, like, the Thanos, like, battle with Thanos over the Infinity Stones.
Okay.
It's going to be 2 parts.
Jeez. Yeah, like, see, that's the thing, is, like, it's just too much. Like, calm down.
But to bring it back to where we were initially discussing, how do you think that plays into the horror genre?
Well, they do this, like, that's what I'm saying, is, like, horror does the same thing, but they do it in every single movie.
Right.
Like, if you watch a horror movie, even the, like, campy, like, crappy B-rate horror movies, because I do watch a lot of those just because I enjoy laughing at how bad acting is and stuff like that.
Right.
Everything gets a sequel. Thanksgiving got a sequel. If you don't know what Thanksgiving is, first off, you're missing out. It's the worst movie of all time, but it's also the best movie of all time, depending on how you look at it. They had a budget of like $6,000.
6,000?
Yeah.
We can make a movie with that budget.
Oh, no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's amazing.
Yeah. $6,000 in the movie industry is not very high production, you know. But if you gave like us $1,000 or $6,000, if you gave us $1,000, we could write a movie that was pretty decent, you know what I mean? But they had $6,000 to make this for this music festival, and it is just awful. But it's like so bad that it's funny.
Oh, that's so good. And
like they do it intentional because it's like they know that it's not going to be high dollar. So they do it to be funny, and I appreciate that kind of movie. But that even got a sequel, and it's called Thanksgiving 3, which is like a Beatles reference, because I think they like made like a part 3 or something like that.
Without having a part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Beatles. It was something like the Beatles. It was iconic shit, but the third movie's about finding the second movie, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, leave it die. Let it die. That one's not even funny because it's so bad. So you know, you watch the first one, you're like, oh, this is hilarious. It has such great one-liners. I won't spoil them, because if you're watching this, you should spend like 54 minutes of your life to YouTube Thanksgiving, and the full movie's available. And you're gonna laugh your ass off. I promise that for sure. But
maybe to wrap up this discussion, what if you were to pick a few horror movies that a non-horror fan should watch, what do you think would be like some ones to spotlight?
So
you mentioned American Werewolf in London.
yeah, I think you have to watch that movie if you like movies. You need to watch that movie because you're honestly missing out on something if you don't watch that movie. It's very like I don't know that there's another horror movie that's as like there's obviously ones that are as iconic, but like there's something about that movie that you don't realize your life was missing until you watch it. And I mean, obviously it came out in 81, so it's very old now. But you have to watch it with that mindset that this is a dated movie, but you watch it to like understand, and it's a hell of a good movie even now. Like honestly, Werewolf's not as realistic as some of the more modern stuff,
right?
But that's a good one. Another good one that scared the crap out of me as a kid was Jeepers Creepers.
I was thinking about that earlier.
So that movie is, I wouldn't say it's like low, like not very popular, because I feel like everybody's heard of it or seen it. But that movie, that one is the only horror movie that's ever given me nightmares. And if you're religious, it gives you can cause some substantiation to like fear of demons or something like that.
Right.
Which is like something that you may or may not want to show your kids. I saw it as a kid. I turned out. I was going to say okay, but that'd be a lie, I think. But I turned out.
He's here.
I'm here.
Got around.
But Jeepers Creepers is another one that I would definitely recommend. There's so many. The other like genre would be the like paranormal activity movies. Honestly, I don't know which one of those is the best. I think they're all kind of lame, but like I feel like you should at least get an idea of that kind of music, that like found footage kind of films. I think that's very interesting with movies. Obviously like the older stuff like Interview with a Vampire. That's like older. I think that I don't remember if that's the one with Eddie Murphy or not, but
that sounds right. Don't quote me on that though.
Yeah, Fright Night, the original, not the new one.
You mentioned the monster films.
Yeah, well, monster films. I mean, I could name like 15 werewolf movies off the top of my head that you like. Probably, if you're into horror, you should watch them. If you're not into horror, they're not going to be great films because you don't like horror. But like Howling and Howling 4, the rest of the series, you can like. It got weird. That movie, like 1 and 4 are based on the book, and they're both good. 2 is about it's called Your Sister's a Werewolf. It's weird as hell. They got the mythology wrong. They like treat werewolves like vampires, like they stake them in the heart and they're afraid of silver and shit. 3 is called Howling 3 Marsupials. Right? So it's based down under, Aussie land. And it's
Pop-Tarts!
I think I like my Pop-Tart! Anyway, the weird kangaroos basically. 5, I don't remember which one's which, but 5 and 6, one's about a castle and there's like a werewolf there, and the other one's about a carnival where the werewolf's put on display, and like the head of the carnival is a vampire. That movie's weird, but it's actually pretty decent. And then there's the 7th one sucks. It's too modern. They like modernized it and made a love story, and I screwed that. But I love the Underworld series. I don't know that I
have seen those.
Yeah, they're not horror really, but they obviously they fall in the like similar category because they have the like monsters, That's a great series.
Very interesting series.
Yeah, I love that series. I'm trying to think because I really hadn't thought about like movies that I would recommend from the horror for the non-horror perspective.
I wouldn't consider one, but if you it's still a monster film, but Van Helsing with
Yeah, I was thinking
Hugh
about that
Jackman.
as well just a second ago, but
that has Kate Beckinsale in it as well, right?
don't remember.
It's I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I like that one.
Stephen King movies are good to watch.
yeah.
That's another movie that'll actually probably give you nightmares.
It's actually on my shelf as a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The book's better than the movie. But,
Yeah, because I've seen like the claymation stuff at the end.
Yeah.
It's just super weird.
It is. I'll go watch the new one when it comes out, probably.
I might.
What was the other one that I just... one more werewolf movie that's like actually... For a horror film, it's a must watch, if you're a horror guy, is Dog Soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is actually... like... If werewolves were a real creature, that's what the destruction they would cause, is that movie. It's actually like based on like if military members became werewolves kind of
thing. Okay.
And it's an interesting movie. If you like horror, you'd be into it, but you said you don't like horror, so there's a lot of guts in that one.
And it depends on like what you classify as horror, because I mean like I enjoyed 28 Days Later.
Actually, that's the song from that, In a House in a Heartbeat, is one of my favorite songs.
Wow. Okay.
But that's a good movie. I figured you'd like The Walking Dead. No, I hate it, but
I'm not a big fan. It's too much.
It's good to know. Yeah. No, I don't like it. I think it's a very boring show, to be honest. But,
and it depends on what you like. I've wanted to sit down and watch The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've rented it before and just never got through it. I watched like half of it and like thought that I'd want to watch it alone or more towards night.
Yeah.
Because I think that one is like very more psychological horror.
That's very true. Now the funny thing is if you ever watch a horror movie with Kyle, you're not going to enjoy the horror movie because you're going to be laughing at him because of how scared he gets about stuff. Minor diversion here, but we watched Supernatural together. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever watched that. It's a great show, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he was watching the first couple episodes with me, and we got to season 2. It was a clown episode. I didn't know this, but he's terrified of clowns. And so I'm like sitting in there playing WoW. This was when we lived together.
Yeah.
And he walks to the other room, and he's like in there for an hour or so. Comes back out, and he's like, I hate you. I'm like, why? And he's like, can't sleep. I'm like, why can't you sleep? And he's like, keep thinking about clowns. But Kyle's hilarious to mess with whenever it comes to horror.
That's so funny.
I like sneak in his room or something and scare him at night. I'm sure he hated that shit, but it was hilarious for me. So.
Another one I own, but I've never actually sat down to watch, is the original Alien.
So I haven't watched those in a long time, so I don't really remember a whole lot about them. But like,
I almost went and saw the new one. Alien, whatever it's called.
I don't.
The one with it has the guy from Eastbound and Down and a few others.
Yeah. It just came out, right?
Yeah, it is Alien
Requiem? Is that right? Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
That was close. Requiem, Covenant.
Same
thing.
So, but yeah, I think those are like, because I remember watching Alien vs. Predator and the original Predators. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you consider those horror.
I would put those in the monster movie category, but that's like sort of that like gray line because it's sci-fi.
Sci-fi action almost, because especially the first one is Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I mean it's horror too, though, for sure.
I think the original Predator is amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where like the Native American is on like the log and is like painted up to get ready to fight him, and then like he's just decimated by the Predator.
Yeah,
it's awesome. And the first time you see the Predator's face, I remember going to the Halloween costume store in Jeffersonville.
Yeah, I just drove past it the other day.
They had a Predator mask where you actually could remove the helmet and it showed the Predator's face.
That sounds awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah. No, Predator was really good. I used to watch that a lot as a kid. Alien, I watched as a kid. And like, I feel like Alien 3 or something may have been the one that like freaked me out the most.
Really?
Yeah, I think that so. There's also like not a spin-off, but like it was almost a parody called Species. And that one was really interesting. There was like 3 or 4 of those. That was a weird movie, but now that one was actually creepy. Then you got like the silly horror movie that also makes you think about things before you do it, like Teeth.
Oh, that just the concept of that used to be like a film that I was very like.
No, I watched that movie and I was like, okay, no.
Yeah, no.
That changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like just because like thinking, like obviously like that doesn't happen in real life, but you think about that and you're like, damn, that's messed up, you know?
Right.
I censored myself. I don't know if you noticed that. I like literally like dubbed that word over.
But there's a lot of places the horror genre can go.
Yeah, and that's why I love horrors, because there's no set template, and it's like you can do whatever you want. It's a blank canvas, but don't try to force this freaking sequel. Back to the main beef I have with horror right now, but yeah, I love horror, and I'll watch a horror movie with anybody any day of the week. Somebody they're like, if they're like, hey, let's watch a horror movie, I'll choose that over anything. Like, you offer me pizza, beer, I'll be like, all right, horror movie. I don't know, might not. It depends on the mood.
Depends.
Probably the horror movie, though.
Depends on how much you ate. So, I think that's where we'll cut it short today.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of good conversation.
Good discussion. We've got Zeb and I, you can see, have very different viewpoints
on a lot of things.
But it's kind of cool whenever you can take two people with very different tastes and try and meld those together and get a different discussion, get different viewpoints.
Yeah, because it broadens your horizon. Because if you look at, if you're more on my side and you like hear this conversation from my perspective, and you're like, yeah, I agree with what he's saying, and then you hear Dylan's side and you're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense too. And it's not in like a debate kind of context. We're like, we're discussing it, you know?
Right.
And the same can be said the other way around. If somebody's listening and they're like, I don't like horror movies, but they hear me talk about it, hopefully I've like inspired people to go check out a couple. And
my girlfriend and I, speaking of wanting to check it out, we actually sat down, we started to watch, we got a little bit over halfway through it, but we started to watch Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
It's directed by Mel Brooks, has the guy who played Willy Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's so funny, but like it's a monster film because it's about Frankenstein.
You're right, yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely think it's having these type of discussions and like top tens. And
our music tastes are very different. So like,
but yeah, we agreed on different points.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we feel each other, where each other's coming from the standpoints and stuff, and like we kind of make the connections where it's like, you know, metalheads get like in that like that tendency of like, well, rap and country both suck, you know, like that kind of thing. I was like that for a long time, and you know, hearing a metalhead talk about how much they love metal, and then hearing them also say like how they can appreciate even Kid Cudi because, you know, it's real or something. Maybe that's like, well, maybe I'll look at this at a different perspective. We can only hope, at least.
Right.
Can't always sell people on everything, but
but good discussions. It's good to get to talk about different topics as well. Sometimes with the show we kind of like hit the same topics, but those are generally topics that
that's why I tried to like pick like different things. Was what I was sort of doing, but I tried to keep it game related because, you know, that's where it started. So. But
so yeah, that's another episode of Buds Aplenty. Thanks for being on, Zeb.
Anytime.
So I'm Dylan St. Clair.
And I'm Zeb Ehringer.
That's Buds Aplenty, episode
14.
14. Woo! We in there. All right, good stuff. Another great episode.